Bula Nwaya and welcome. This is Maple coming to you live from the comfort of my home. It is Sunday. What is our time now? 8:35 p.m. and I welcome you here. Thank you for being here. I believe if you're watching live or you're catching the replay that maybe something in here is meant for you. What I'm going to share as today is rest, reflection, and inspiration for a new day or a new week. And so as we come to a close, as this week comes to a close, I'm reminded that rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. And I always say this, Sunday is my rest day, and we braved. So here in Fairbanks, Alaska, it is so foggy because we were some places -50 and some 40, -41 for us here in the morning. But we still went, to church today, and it was a great feeling to be able to, the weather will always, there'll always be changes, but if it is something that you're committed to, then you will always find time to do it. And so I'm just thankful that we did. And so how our Sunday went. So usually it's a rest day. After church, we would, if we have to buy things, prepare for the week, we would. Otherwise, we'd come home and then just relax for the rest of the day. But today was different. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm a registered nurse, still working full time. I live now in Fairbanks, Alaska, and this is part of my business, though I like to talk about, my rest day and how it empowers me, how it encourages me before a new week. So we came back to a cold house, and that took a lot of our time, just trying to have someone come in and fix the whatever problem it was. And then on Sundays, if you're watching me for the first time, we always have our family time, FaceTime with our children and speak to our grandchildren. That has been something, tradition for our family ever since our oldest child left for college, and we still keep it till this day. So after having to do all that, I'm able to show up here, and so that is how my Sunday went. It may seem busy, it may seem like, but it was necessary because these are the things that we need to have a warm house, stay warm in this harsh winter, and so everything got fixed. We get to spend time talking with family, and I am now here talking with you. So thank you for being here. So like I said, Sunday is an invitation to pause, to breathe, and also to realign our hearts with what truly matters. And so, rest doesn't mean that we've stopped believing. It just simply means we trust God enough to stop striving. And even seeds rest in the soil before they grow, and nothing looks like it's happening yet. Everything is happening beneath the surface. So that is just a faith reminder, and I'll quote here: in quietness and trust is your strength, and that is from Isaiah 30:15. So even in quietness and trust, that is your strength, in that moment of quietness, of waiting. And so I can say that strength doesn't always look like pushing harder. Sometimes it just looks like surrender, stillness, and trust. And I'm just, and because, I like to share my reflection of the week before rushing into another new week. Here's the thing. I usually take a moment to reflect. And so, like I said, a lot of things have happened today, but I do take time to reflect and, just hear the questions that that has helped me reflect, and that is what stretched what stretched me or what stretched you this past week. I'm asking myself as I'm asking you this. Here's another one. What did you learn about yourself? It can be interesting. You can just share it or um, put it down, write it down for yourself. These are some of the good reflection questions. Where did you see God sustain you, even quietly? Like sometimes things don't have to be loud. It's just in quiet moments you realize that there's something that is moving, there's something that is growing, but quietly and surely. And so that is one question that I would ask. And here's another one. What are you grateful for that you don't want to overlook? I'm sure we all have a lot of things that we are grateful for. Um, and so, and also, growth doesn't only come from doing more. It just comes from, it comes from noticing, reflecting, and responding with intention. I think that really happens when you notice something, you reflect on it, and you respond with intention. If it is something that needs to be improved, that is your response to it. Not only that, but with intention, because you truly want to grow. And I really like the fact that having to do that, it really helps me um, see where I am and where I want to be and how I want to grow in this journey. And so, as you prepare for a new week, remember that we don't build life or even business just for money. We build for family. That is one thing. We build for family. We build for our health, our time, and peace, as well as purpose. When our goals really align with peace, clarity, definitely follows. Um, and when our plans align with purpose, momentum becomes sustainable. And so that is why I like to say rest refuels our visions. When we rest, I think those are the moments that things become clear. There is clarity in our goals, in in the things that we need to let go and the things that we need to hold on to. And so rest truly refuels vision. Also, rest sharpens direction. Yeah. So, we are able to see where we need to go. And it kind of aligns with our faith, and for me, my faith in God, and how it sharpens my direction, choosing to do what is right, choosing making right decisions. Rest reminds us why we started, why we are in this journey, why am I, taking these steps, why am I following, or why am I choosing to do things, because that is what it reminds us of our why. And if we are not aligned to our why, then maybe we have to relook and reflect on what needs to be improved, what needs to where I need to get directions that will help me in my journey. And so um, I like to ask questions here because it does help me reflect, it does help me think, and realize, like, okay, maybe this is something that I need to work on. So when I ask those questions, the things that I like to focus on is what truly deserves my energy this week. Because now that you've reflected, now that you have seen the things that didn't work or the things that have worked, now what truly deserves my energy this week? What do I truly need to focus on? And I'm just reminded this week that today, even, at church, pastor, and I like to read it here because it helps. It has helped me like realize that fear has a big impact on decisions that we make. And today we were reminded about fear and faith, that fear is the same as faith. Fear is believing in something that you have not even seen or done, um, and faith is believing in what you haven't seen, and the hope. But the difference is that the and so how and so three ways to push fear aside and step forward in faith. And I like to say that because this is something that I believe can help someone here. And it says, name the fear and don't let it lead, because when you let fear lead, you'll never be able to step forward, and you'll never be able to take um, that step out of where you're at, whether you're stuck where you're at, or maybe still in undecisive on what to do. But all you have to do is name it, whether it is fear of failure. It is good to admit it and name it, because then you'll be able to, as you notice it, you'll be able to respond to it in a positive way. And the other one is fix your fears before you fix your situation. And that is another great one. We have to fix it before we even fix our situation. So we really need to, that is one great way to push fear aside. And the other one is take one obedient step, not the whole journey. And so it really, I remembered having to share this, that all we need to do is take one step forward. And today was like that same reminder, that to take one obedient step and not the whole journey, because we get overwhelmed when we see the whole journey ahead of us. But when we take one step forward, it only leads you to the next. And before you know it, you have gone through that journey without realizing that you did it. And so here's another question: what do I need to release so I can move forward lighter? That's another thing. What do I need to let go? What does not serve me? What what does not what did not work for me that I need to let go? And what would a peaceful, what would a peaceful aligned week look like? Everyone wants a peaceful week, right? Um, but it's not always the case. Just like today, I said, today is like a rest day, really a slow rest day, just mainly reflecting and preparing for a new week. But a lot of the time was taken in trying to find a way to keep the house warm before we can even go to work tomorrow. Um, and so I thank God that we were able to have that fixed, as well as, just trusting that, things that are beyond our control, we just have to trust God in our journey and just let go and let God. And so I thank God that, um, like I said, what, as I'm just deviating here, but just going back to what would a peaceful aligned week look like. I'm sure we all have that, that you have your plan for the week. For those of you who have already started the week, probably you've started with your plans being purposeful and intentional. And for those of us who will be starting the new week tomorrow, I'm sure we all want everything that we plan for work for us, whatever it may be, that we all want it accomplished in one week. And it's a good thing to set goals, but there are times when things that are beyond our control, um, things that happen around us that is beyond our control, that is when we really have to find that peace in us to know that it is something I cannot control, but I trust that God will help me here. So the next question is, where is God inviting me to trust instead of control? And that is one great, example I just shared. So, um, so that is one, and here's another one. What is one intentional step that supports both my calling and my well-being. So I have a lot of questions here, and you probably, you can always watch the replay. But these are the questions that really helps us, um, just stay aligned, as well as plan better, and be intentional, and have that purpose, that why am I doing what I'm doing, or why am I stuck in this journey. These are the questions that can really remind us of what needs to let go, and what needs um, to to hold on to, so that we can do the things that we love to do, things that we value, as well as in our journey. As for me, this business journey, there's so many plans I have, um, and just um, having to set a vision board, and goals that to set for this year, personally, spiritually, in my work, as well as this business. There's so much that we have to do, but all we have to do is take one obedient step. And I really, it really touched me today, because um, it is one great reminder that we cannot do everything at once. All we have to do is take one step, one obedient step. And so you don't need to do everything. I just said that you don't need to figure it all out. You just need to do the right things with the right heart. I'll say this again. You just need to do the right thing with the right heart, with good intentions. And of course, slow growth is still growth. So again, rest is part of the process, and not the opposite of it. It is definitely part of the process, because when we rest, things become clear. We get to reflect and reset for another day or another week. And so as you step into this new week, may you walk rested, clear, and anchored in purpose. And so I hope that what I've shared here, my journey and how my day went. I don't know what your day was like, but that was mine. And in everything, I hope that this week you are chasing goals, and just looking to for those breakthroughs. And if you are someone that is still undecisive on what step you need to take next, I always believe in prayers. I always believe that when we pray with intention, and naming it, and um, prayers are powerful when it comes from the heart. When you do it with gratitude, um, it will come in God's timing. And so um, that is my prayer, that your prayers are answered, as well as this week be rested. You may walk rested, clear, and anchored in purpose. And so that is all from me. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, evening, whatever time zone you're watching me from. And I'll be back tomorrow, Vinaka, for Yexia, and God bless.